Thank you. Thank you very much, and good evening to everyone. And whenever, as a journalist, whenever I'm asked about Gaza, I keep silence for at least 10 seconds because I need to prepare myself or figure out how to tell the story that I had as a journalist and I have had as a resident of Gaza. And for a long time, it was for me thinking about what happened and what's also going to happen to these people, to these 2 million people who are living still in Gaza, squeezed in a tiny area and with the lack of everything and a huge collective punishment that for me and for us as Gazans, it's unprecedented. We have never seen something like that. And they tried, and I keep saying they because I'm talking about the Israeli army, the Israeli government, the extremist government we have ever seen, decided not to show the world what's going on in Gaza. From the beginning, there was a huge war against the image, against the story, against what could people do and understand the situation, the political and social situation in the Gaza Strip. It's very sensitive, but it was a big fight. And I will try to explain how is it going in Gaza in the best way I can, because in a journalistic way, it's always boring. And I will try to tell you when I call my colleagues who are still in Gaza, working, covering, trying, I call them and I say, how are you? How you feel? And they immediately answer, how do you feel? And this is the question that I keep asking people. How do you feel about what's going on in Gaza? And I try to avoid lighting a cigarette in front of someone in Gaza because they quit smoking for 6 months, forced to quit smoking. And if you understand the tension that people are living in, because they were displaced so many times, taking their children, their stuff, and running. It's being hunted all the time, and you feel it. So you are running, and you are prevented from so many things. The whole life is changed. And I keep saying, it's good, you quit smoking, it's healthy. But they say, oh, we also quit taking a shower every day. It's not healthy too, because water is not good. And they say that they quit taking a shower after swimming in the Mediterranean because all the Gaza Strip was on the Mediterranean. Why they did stop taking a shower after the Mediterranean? Because the Mediterranean is the shower. They are now salty enough. And they quit a lot of things. They also quit eating every day because it's not healthy. Meat, chicken, and also fish. Just imagine, all the Gaza Strip is on the beach. Half of the residents are fishermen, but they are not eating fish because they are not allowed to fish. And now they are living in tents and try to explain to a Gazan how to live under these circumstances. The drones that shooting and also artillery, and they are under a tiny tent that it's not a shelter. And the contradiction is that the Israeli army keeps saying in the media to manipulate their minds, the minds of people, the minds of the international community, that we push the Gazans to a safe zone. Can you imagine what is the safe zone that they put 2 million people in 4 square kilometers? And they are squeezed together, and each tent that you see is hosting at least 20 people. They are losing privacy, they are losing their ability to live at least normal life inside tents. So when I talk to people in Gaza, my colleagues, and I feel so sorry that I left, they feel, you are lucky. You managed to save your daughters, you managed to save yourself, and you got out. Those who are so lucky managed to get out. And I'm not lucky. It's painful. It's very tough that I'm not there anymore, and I can't go there. And I feel that I'm not gonna be back in Gaza, because what they did is not a reaction or retaliation for the 7th of October, as you know. No, it's not this. It's removing the roots and the history and the connection and the affiliation of Palestinians to their land. So they tried from the beginning. They asked me or all the residents of the northern Gaza Strip, pushing them toward the south. And then they demolished our houses. And then they asked us to be in a shelter. So we went to the shelter. And then they said, you have to move from the shelter to other places. So they destroyed the shelter. The shelter was school. People were in classrooms, and they moved from the schools to the tents. And then they destroyed the schools. And then they destroyed the hospitals. And then it became more painful, because until now it's okay. But when they start removing our roots and history from Gaza, we believed that it's not the same, and we are not going back. The first thing they destroyed is the most ancient museum in the Gaza Strip. And I said, this is not good. This is going to be the disaster. And then they destroyed the most ancient church in Gaza, San Pervirios, 1,500 years old. And it was removing and erasing our roots from Gaza. So now they are creating a huge suffering for people and trying to kill journalists. And if you don't know, if you ask any journalist who still live in Gaza, they will tell you how is the feeling of being hunted. And this is the feeling that, you see, it's crazy. It's my family, it's myself, it's my soul, and I have to run all the time. For me, in the first 6 months that I spent in Gaza and I was covering, it was a huge mass inside, because I had to take care of the family, my children, and to survive, because we don't have food. I have to run to find food, to find good water, and to survive. In the first couple of months, I lost 10 kilos. I'm not that guy that can lose 10 kilos. But it was all the time the same. You are running. The first time I was displaced, I said, okay, now I can start working. I put on the vest and the helmet and put my daughters in with a family, a hosting family, and started working. It was painful that you are losing your colleagues. And just imagine, we as journalists, we used to work and cover wars, and we pack each other all the time. And morally, we are supporting each other. But at a point, you feel hunted, and we look at each other, and we don't know what to say. The first report that I gave to the world outside, it was terrifying, because we had no communication, no internet, and I have to write 1,500 words. And I was doing that because I don't have my laptop, so it was with my phone. Just imagine you are writing 1,500 words. And then you have to look for the place that you are connected to the internet so you can send the materials. And Have you ever imagined that when I need to upload 30 seconds of a video, how much time it takes? And I have to run and be safe. And if you have connections with Gazans and you pick the phone, you all the time hear the buzzing of the drones. So you are all the time under that threat of being killed, of being next to a house that will collapse. And the fear inside was terrifying. And I want to thank all these people in Italy that were following me. And I will tell you the truth. Honestly, I was inspired by you. Every single morning I wake up and I say, enough is enough. I can't do it. I'm exhausted. And it was terrifying even to put the vest on, because you will be more hunted. And they will see you, and you are on the target. So I stopped putting the vest. Also, not to scare other people who are residents in Gaza. When they see you, they will immediately feel the fear that you are going to be dead, and we are going to be dead too. So they keep a distance. Just imagine. They keep a distance from us. And it's very difficult for us to interview people. So it was every single morning that I say, I can't. But I have those who used to follow and send me messages saying, if you don't have a report this morning, we know that something bad happened to you. There was a connection with a lot of people in Italy that inspired me and pushed me forward all the time to go on. So I moved during this 6 months, 7 times I was displaced. And each time you abandon something. At the beginning, I had some heavy clothes because winter is coming. But at the end, I got out of Gaza through Rafah crossing with only the shoes, the trousers, and my documents. This is all what I got. And I will tell you the feeling of all the Gazans at that moment. At the beginning, I still have my house standing, but it was damaged a lot. After 2 months, there was an attack, and my house was totally damaged. And then I end up with my car. I was running with my car all the time. But we had to abandon, we ran to shelters, but then you have to think about, oh, I'm going to the tent. And the tent's area is close to the beach. So you abandon everything. And you see bulldozers are destroying the cities one by one. They started from the north, and they end up in the south. They took everything, and those who are not lucky, they missed the opportunity to go out of Gaza because Israel destroyed Rafah city and destroyed the crossing outside. So just imagine there are 2 million people trapped in Gaza, killed every day, and prevented from sending their voice to the world. And the world is more disappointing them, more frustrating them, and they feel alone against the superpower, America and Israel. They are killing them, and everybody is silent. I believe when people inspired me to go on, I believe that people can inspire more people and can inspire a lot and can change, because we know all the governments are extremists and they are looking for their own interests. But for humanity, if we stop acting as human to stop this machine, I believe we are going to lose a lot. If 2 million people living in Gaza lost hope and became so frustrated and lose their belief in democracy and modern world, I believe it's going to spread a lot, and we will lose our human way of thinking, our human way of living. And those people, maybe a lot of you and a lot of countries in the world will say, okay, they will have this misery life for 2 years, and then after 6 months they will forget, because people tend to forget. But it's not that. It's so much painful. And the people in Gaza, like me, who lost everything, I have lost hope, and now I have no residency in the world. I lost everything. And just like me, Yumna and others lost their jobs, lost their houses, and lost their hope in democracy, which is very bad. And I can't say what I think and what I feel right now, because I'm lucky that I'm in Italy, and I can't tell other people what I see in Reggio Emilia, how beautiful this city, because people in Gaza lost their feeling about beauty, about love, about peace, about everything. We can do something to save them. Thank you.